Hetepu, Assalamu alaikum, Namaste, Haroon Nefer. This is Qesankh Maya Keperu with another video for you. And in this video, we're going to talk about why the Barbie movie is pure evil. Yes, you heard me say it, evil. But before I do that, I want you to hit the like button on this video. If this is your first time on my channel, welcome. Hit the subscribe button to get notifications of when I go live and when I upload recorded videos. However, if you want to know more about my spiritual teachings, you can scroll down to any one of the 4 links below, click on them, and you can download a free ebook written by me, yours truly. Start reading that today. But if that's not enough for you, you can become a Patreon supporter for as little as $1, $5, or $20 per month. It's up to you. You can unsubscribe anytime. You'll get exclusive access to instructional videos on the esoteric, videos that teach you how to meditate, the proper breathing exercises, how to communicate with the ancestors, how to do lucid dreaming, how to astral travel, how to do self-hypnosis, and so much more. And again, if you are a Sayer level supporter, you'll get your oracle readings for free. Remember, you can subscribe for as little as $1, $5, or $20 per month. Last but not least, share this video with family and friends, and let's get the revolution started. All right. So I have this friend, Lawrence. Lawrence is in finance. But before I get into Lawrence, how are you? Namaste, Haroon Nefer, Grand Rising. Hope you're all doing well today on this very, very hot day. I took Jazzy out for a walk and we both almost passed out. The heat was like ridiculous. I got in the car and Jazzy went right up to the vent with the air conditioner and he was like staying right there. He wanted that cool air. But I want to talk about my friend Lawrence because Lawrence represents the majority of the sheeple. You see, there are those who go with the status quo and they know what's up and they choose to jump on board those who are evil and out for your destruction. They're willingly doing it. Then there's those like Lawrence who don't think too deeply and aren't awake and they'll just follow and follow and follow and they're part of the sheeple. Well, Lawrence went to see Barbie and he's a young Black man. And I said, well, Lawrence, why would you go see a movie like that? It's not made for you, you know? And I'm not going to get into the discussion about whether it was right or wrong for him to go see it. But what I'm saying is that you need to do some research before you get involved in something and before you do something. Don't be part of the sheeple and just do what everybody else is doing. Now, you have to admit for the movie Barbie, and this is what this is all about, they did a great marketing job. And one of the things that they admitted publicly with Barbie is that they hid the storyline in their trailer and in all their advertisement. They hid the storyline. They didn't want you to know that the film was primarily about down with the patriarchy, pushing feminist ideology. They did not want that publicized because they were afraid you would not go see the movie. And they were very successful in hiding it because the box office just blew up. And it's become such a sensation. They're recommending that not only do you see the Barbie movie, but you go see Oppenheimer. What do they call it? Barbenheimer? You see 2 movies. Now, pull up Barbie's box office totals. Let's see what she's at. She's made. Let me just bring this up so we can see this. Okay. On Monday, Barbie added 26 million to its haul, the biggest Monday in the history of Warner Brothers and the best ever for a female director. Greta Gerwig's bubblegum pink feature added another 26 million on Tuesday, extending its domestic box office to 214 million. Barbie exceeded opening weekend expectations, snaring 162 million over its first 3 days in domestic theaters. 162 million. This is the highest opening for a female director in the history of cinema. Fewer than 100 films have topped 100 million in their opening weekend. Now, again, and it goes on to talk about the Margot Robbie-led film opened higher than Universal's The Super Mario Brothers movie and which snared 146.3 million during its debut and has gone on to top 1 billion worldwide during its theatrical run. Now, there's no doubt that I was just saying that they did really well. They had an excellent marketing campaign for Barbie. But I knew way before the film was released, because I got hold of the synopsis and I read through it to understand the production, that it was about extreme feminist ideology, which was down with the patriarchy. It was primarily based on misandry. So the film was about hating men. But I want to take you a bit deeper into what this is trying to do in the agenda of the ruling elite, the oligarchy. Because they control Hollywood. The ruling elite controls Hollywood. And one of the things they want to do is they want to create this rift between men and women. They want women to despise and hate men. And the way they can do that is through feminism. That's their agenda. They have been successful in doing that within the Black community, which has been the beta test, to get Black women to hate Black men, to a point where Black women have this ego about them. They think they're better than Black men. They look down on Black men, and they have a low level contempt for Black men. So now they're doing this through social engineering with white women through the medium of film to get white women to hate Black men. I'm sorry, white women to hate white men. But why do they want to do this? Well, because they want to reduce the population. They don't want procreation, because if you have couples, whether it be Asian, Black, Latino, white, who are couples that are loving and producing children. You see, the ruling elite takes a multifaceted approach. They don't just go in one direction. They don't just put all their eggs in one basket. You see, they come out of the gate promoting a gender war, saying to white women, the white man has oppressed you. And that's not true. That's absolutely not true. Become a feminist white woman. Stand up for your rights. Down with the patriarchy. Kill men. I'm not being hyperbolic. Because they've done this in the Black community, where they've indoctrinated Black women to the degree of Black women are running around talking about to abort all Black male babies or fetuses. And we know where this is coming out of: Planned Parenthood and Margaret Sanger. So now they're doing it through the medium of film and creating this gender war and it's an artificial war between white women and white men. White women have always been privileged. White men would go to war, work in the coal mines, build the railroads, tame the West, as it said, and go overseas exploring and conquering other countries and bring the booty or the bounty back to white women. White women didn't have to fight in any battles. She didn't have to go in the coal mines and work and get dirty. When they made the Brooklyn Bridge and the San Francisco Bridge, do you know how many men died to get those bridges built? Do you know the conditions that they had to undergo to build those bridges? They were literally locked down at the bottom of the water there, locked in and digging out a tunnel with the mud and the toxic fumes and air. But I digress. But there's something more sinister that you have to be aware of as a person of color as to what's going on with this movie Barbie. I've already talked about how they hid the fact that the movie is basically, the plot of the movie is down with the patriarchy and hate white men. Because at the end of the film, it's basically about Ken and Barbie. And Ken and Barbie come to the real world. Well, first, let me go to the Barbie world. The Barbie world is where women do everything and they're perfect at it. You know, the Mary Sue type thing. And the men are useless and just tools, and they're incompetent. But Barbie decides to go to the real world to find the girl who controls her as Barbie. And Ken goes with her, and we come into the real world where the patriarchy is in place. And they show patriarchy to such an extreme and ridiculousness where Barbie's standing around, some guy, you know, just out of the blue comes and smacks her on her ass while Ken is standing there. Because they gotta show you how disgusting men are. So to make a long story short, they come back to Barbie land, and I believe Ken is the first one to come back, and Ken establishes the patriarchy in Barbie land, and he's really happy because the men are respected, they have roles. But when Barbie comes back, she puts back in place the matriarchy, where the women are awesome and the men are just useless. And not only that, the film doesn't end with a coming together and an understanding of each other's side where men and women can work harmoniously. No, the ending is hate men and long live the matriarchy. That in itself is evil. But I haven't even gotten to the worst part of this. I want to take you through this and break this down for you just to show you how evil this is. All right, let me share this with you. This is kind of the trailer. Let me just start from the beginning here. The Barbie. I'm not going to play the sound because YouTube will penalize me for that. So here you have Barbie in her little Barbie world. And she has a contempt for Ken. She doesn't like Ken. Because that's the message they push. The women should hate the men. She gets slapped there. Now, this is the real world with the patriarchy. That's Ken, as he's established the patriarchy. Now, I want you to look at how they're including all of these other races, the Asians, the blacks. Barbie was never about diversity. You see, Barbie was pushed when she first came out as the most beautiful woman in the world. She was the standard of beauty for all other races, white, black, Asian, Latina, had to live up for. She was the standard. But see, now they've come out with this whole diversity thing. You see, you as an African American or ADOS or FBA, Foundational Black American, whose ancestry were slaves in this country, you see, they have to create this notion of diversity because, first off, they use feminism as a way to create a wedge between black men and black women. They indoctrinated black women into patriarchy. I'm sorry, not patriarchy, matriarchy, into feminism, so much so that black women walk around saying, Black man, you have oppressed me through the patriarchy. Now, black men have no power whatsoever in this Western world. So he cannot oppress the black woman. He cannot establish a patriarchy. He's had no power. He's been enslaved through generations. So her going around and talking about how she needs to eradicate the patriarchy and black men are oppressive is psychotic. Because as I've always said, that her attention should be focused on white men who have always oppressed her, who's enslaved her, and who has raped her. How dare you, as a black woman, go around talking about black men have established a patriarchy and they're the ones that are the cause of your problems, when they in themselves are targeted by police. They've been locked up, creating the prison industrial complex. And you're saying that black men are the patriarchy and they are the problems that of your world. That's insulting, and it's not historically accurate. While you give this white man a pass, you go on Oprah, you talk about there's no good black men out there, but you'll never talk about the white man and what he has done to rape and pillage all other countries. People look at poverty in Africa and say, why can't they pull themselves up by their bootstrap? They didn't put themselves in that position of poverty. The countries had a field day with raping Africa. Now, this whole diversity thing is, number one, a way to create a buffer class. See, during the civil rights movement, black people were standing up for their rights and demanding equality. And they knew, the oligarchy knew, that to prevent them from getting reparations and for getting equality is to create buffer classes like feminism, like the LGBTQ. And those groups would usurp black people in fighting for rights. Now they'll put Asian rights above black people rights. Every president comes into office, he caters to the LGBTQ, he caters to the Asians, he caters to the Jews, but does nothing for black people. This is because they've created these buffer classes to bump you out. And the first ones to bump you out were white women. Instead of the civil rights movement, instead of civil rights or affirmative action benefiting black people, who's the biggest beneficiary of it? White. Secondly, black women. They represent a double minority. So when you're seeing this so-called fake diversity, where you're seeing Asians and black Latinos and transgender in Barbie world, that's the buffer class. That's their way of pushing you out. But here's the sinister and sick part about this. And you need to wake the hell up because you're asleep. Hegemony. Hegemony. What is that? What you are seeing here in this eclectic mix of men from different races is hegemony. Let's go on. We're in Barbie world here. Latina, so Latina there. When I was growing up, and I'm revealing my age here, there was not one black person on television. There were no black people in the movies. Now look at this. Look at the sickness of this. Please excuse my language. I'm sorry, Tahuti. This black woman dancing in front of all these other women as if she was ever part of the Barbie world. Again, Barbie was a symbolism of white supremacy. It was the epitome of beauty that all other races of women had to measure up to. And who is this woman here doing this little dance? Their little favorite little pet, Issa Rae. And she's not an ADO, she's not FBA. Little Issa Rae jumping up and down. They throw her in just about everything. Now, if I had reached her level in the industry, there's no way I would be in this movie, given the history of Barbie. Barbie was never about inclusion. The inclusion came with this woke culture and the furthering of the LGBTQ community to usurp Black people's fight for human and civil rights. Human rights, as Malcolm X said, and civil rights, as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said or stood for. And here's her little ass dancing. And Black woman, if you want a Barbie, create your own. Create your own dolls. Don't subscribe to this white supremacist notion, because the diversity that you think they've opened up to allow other races to be Barbies, they've only done that for hegemony. Let me explain for those of you who don't understand. Let me explain. What is hegemony? What is it? Well, let's take a look, folks. Let's take a look. Hegemony is leadership or dominance, especially by one country or social group over another. I'm going to say it again. Hegemony is leadership or dominance, especially by one country or social group over another. So what you're seeing here in the Barbie world is the dominance of one culture over all others. You know, I'm a big fan of Star Trek, but I'm the first one to admit that the Gene Roddenberry vision of a diverse world, of diverse universe, where all races are equal, that's just full of shit. They always had Lieutenant Uhura in the back of the communications station, and the white man was always still the captain. That's hegemony. You see, putting the white man at the top, or white people at the top, and then sprinkling the other races in there, you still have the predominant leading figure as white. And in the Barbie world here, as I've just showed you, you still have Margot Robbie as Barbie, still the leader of the pack. Oh, they gave Issa Rae, I guess, some token role. I guess she's president of Barbie World or some dumb stuff. See, again, I'm giving away my age, but I'm glad that I transitioned from analog to digital, because I remember the time they were not putting any Black people on TV. The marketing campaigns, meaning commercials, were all white. The movies were all white. Yeah, they peppered a black person in there here and there, but what you were getting was a white world until Madison Avenue was forced to diversify. But in their diversifying, inclusion had a sinister agenda to it. In Africa, there was no such thing as transgender. In Africa, there were no serial killers. In Africa, there was no LGBTQ community. These things were created by the oligarchy to be the buffer. And the more sinister part about this is that they're trying to indoctrinate you into this as if it's good. You see Issa Rae dancing there and all these other groups of people that, oh, universal harmony. It's not. It's every group having to conform. It is the Borg collective. Resistance is futile. You have to be part of this. It's hegemony. It is the eradication of you and your culture to conform to their nonsense. Everybody can be gay. Come on, it's a free world. Everybody can be gay. Oh, in fact, you can be part of the LGBTQ community no matter what color you are, because it's about love. See, we see what you're doing. We see what your true agenda is. To wipe out our cultures and identity, to come under your sick and perverted system, to mesh and fit in with you. I'm not part of Barbie. I'm not in the Barbie world, and I don't want to be. And neither should you. Because as they admitted in the marketing campaign, they kept the truth from you. They didn't reveal that the film was about down with the patriarchy and promoted feminist ideology to attack the children, to indoctrinate the young white girls into hating white boys. The ending of the movie is not about the two coming together to realize that they need each other and they love each other, but the ending of the movie is about promoting how you as a white woman should despise men, that they should be second-class citizens, that the patriarchy is the only way that things will work in the world. Let's continue. So look at the flashiness and the production value and the costumes. They all look good, everyone dancing in pink, Then you got these dumb singers, Nicki Minaj, DeLupa, Ice Spice. Is that what it's at? Look at this. See, all this is about making you feel good, dancing, colorfulness, but they're not telling you that the film is divisive. That it's about women are better than men. Look at this. Will Ferrell in this do anything for a paycheck? Because his name ain't hot anymore. Look at Issa Rae. How dare you, Issa Rae, say that you're a black woman dancing around in this white world that Barbie has created and has fooled you into believing that you're a part of it. You don't have blonde hair. You don't have the figure of a Barbie, which is an unrealistic figure to have. It's aspirational thinking for white women. But no woman can achieve that figure that Barbie has. It's unrealistic. Look at Issa Rae jumping up and down, smiling with her processed hair. I thought she was black. Look in the back at the diversity that they're fooling you with. Hegemony. It's not diversity if the white woman is still in power. And let me explain this. And you black women, listen closely. White women have gained so much privilege from this Western society. And she has gained much of that through slavery. You see, they make it seem like the white man was the one who went and enslaved every other group, which is true, but they're not dealing with the fact that the white woman played a major role in that. She is just as evil as the white man. And we're not calling to task the white woman for the crimes that she has committed. Let's continue. They make it all pretty and colorful. And in the film, there are these monologues and long lines delivered by women about the destruction of the patriarchy. And in the film, instead of Barbie loving Ken and them having an opportunity to work the issues out between them two, she just goes through the entire film despising Ken, treating Ken like shit. Because this is what they want America to be like. This is what they want the world to be like. You see, in order for the Illuminati, the ruling elite, to take over the planet, they have got to effeminize the white man. They have to effeminize the black man and make the woman believe that she can rule. Because once the woman thinks she's in a position of power, it's easy for the ruling elite to take over. Because a woman cannot do the same things as a man. She cannot. Look how happy Ken looks, and look how not happy she is. This is the same thing they're doing with the new Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, where Snow White no longer wants a Prince Charming. She wants to be the leader. And that's the whole premise of that movie coming out. Do you see the sick and perverted things that they're doing through movies and trying to indoctrinate your children into? It wasn't good enough for them to basically have drag queens read to your kids during story time. They've got to infiltrate the medium of film and put this garbage in there. So you and your kids will eat it up. And then this is why the film turns around and makes all this money, because people who are nothing but sheeple walk around and don't even pay attention and research what they're getting into. In just 5 days in theaters, Barbie has topped 470 million globally. The film has made $500 million globally. It has accomplished what the ruling elite wanted: to spread the ideology through the medium of film that you, as a young girl, should hate boys, should hate men. And the God Tahuti tells us there is no irreconcilable differences. Let me say it again. There are no irreconcilable differences. In fact, Tahuti is known as making the two combatant brothers go home in peace, which were Haru and Set. He made them shake hands and work out their differences. And instead of this movie promoting that and saying Barbie and Ken worked out their differences and are in love with each other, it creates the very foundation of conflict. Of promoting the matriarchy, making it seem as the patriarchy oppressed white women. It did not. And the irony of this whole push of this feminist agenda in this movie is that it's pushed by white men. It's the Wizard of Oz hiding behind the curtain. It's the puppet master pulling the strings. Yes, the ones who are out there trying to emasculate men, to destroy them, is ironically white men. Because they know once men have been effectively neutralized, they can take over the planet in their goal of a one world government and rule the planet. This social engineering is meant to slow down the birth rate, to keep us from procreating. And I told you to take a multifaceted approach through the medium of film, promoting this thing where women should not seek to go after men and start families, through the LGBT community that promotes the hatred of men, through feminist ideology, through the rewriting of history books. We are in there's a Chinese proverb that says, may you live in interesting times. And we are living in interesting times where being straight is a danger. It's a threat to the system. If you are a straight man or woman, you're a danger to the system. If you are pro-nuclear family, you are a danger to this system. If you say to gay people, I don't agree with your lifestyle, but I will not interfere with it or say anything negative about it, you are a danger to this society. Because they're going to penalize you for not jumping on board their agenda. And it's sick. It's sick and perverted. And they've already done this to ADOS people, FBA people, African Americans. We were the canary in the coal mine. They beta tested on us. And it has been successful because a large percentage of Black women walk around talking, I'm an independent woman. I don't need no man. What kind of sickness? God made you for man. God made man for woman. You need each other. You are one half of a whole. I don't want to fit into this society. It is sick and twisted. But too many of you run to the theater to see Barbie without the slightest notion as to what the movie's about. I saw a young Latina, and she has a channel, Snarky J, I think her name is. And I always respected her reviews of films. But this Latina who goes to the premiere of Barbie puts on a blonde wig and is so excited. And after the movie, she gives it a 10. She gives the movie a 10. You are not, as a Latina, part of the Barbie world. You were never part of the Barbie world. And you're not blonde. But that's the loss of self-identity. That's the loss of your cultural legacy. Is to jump on board their agenda, which is anti-you. You're promoting your own self-destruction. I love the character of Superman. He's not my favorite superhero, but Superman is a white supremacist ideology. A superman who fights for the American way. What was the American way in the 50s? Jim Crow, segregation. Did Superman eradicate that? He never addressed that. Yet he was a superman. And these white women walking around promoting this idea of Barbie as the standard of beauty. You see, this came as the gift to you, white woman, from white men. White men not only conquered the planet and spread his ideology, but he made every other race and ethnic group on the planet bow down to worship white female phenotypes. In order to be considered the epitome of beauty, you had to have a thin body, thin nose, thin lips, blonde hair, etc., etc., which Black women didn't have. Black women were very curvy and vivacious. Latino women didn't have that. They were very curvy and vivacious too. So you don't fit in. But yet you want to fit in so bad, you throw that blonde wig on and run to the premiere and say, when I was young, I had a Barbie. And it was so much fun. Yeah. We have to stop jumping aboard their train. We have to look at them and say, no, you conform to our ideology. In fact, why don't you give up and admit that you stole a lot of things from us in our culture? Barbie is an evil movie. Because when you start talking about how bad the patriarchy are and how bad white men are, you're just as bad. Because when he came home with the gold and the spices and the sugar canes and the cottons, you didn't care where he got it from or who he had to enslave to get it. You just took it. And then you became the quote unquote Southern Belle. You were the prize. The white man would slay the dragon for you. You were always the prize. You never had to do any hard labor. You didn't have to go in there and build skyscrapers, build bridges, dig for precious minerals, work in the sewer system. You hadn't do any of those things. And now you buy into this sick thought process that's conveyed in the movies. You've given them $500 million. And you know there's going to be a sequel now. They have done a clever job of marketing this movie, from keeping from you the idea or the truth about the real plot, feminist ideology, and come up with the marketing scheme that not only should you see Barbie, you got to see Oppenheimer, Barbenheimer. All consumerism. Just consume, consume, consume. Fry your brain. Don't think too much in this movie, because then you'll have to question what's really going on. If you have a moment, and if you like this message, I want you to donate to the channel. And I want you to remember, we still have the 6-figure PM program going. You can become a digital PM, building websites and leading a team in just 6 weeks. Go to the 6-figure PM, that's the URL. Check out our website, which explains everything in detail about how this is an untapped resource. Many people are not taking advantage of this. You get into my program and I train you to be a digital PM within 6 weeks. And after that, we help you find work. We don't just leave you out there in the cold. And these jobs are very, very creative. They're not your corporate job that stifles you. It's very laid back, creative environment with friendly, smart people. We have 4 levels: bronze program, silver program, gold program, and the platinum program. They're very, very inexpensive. It's excellent. Stop busting your ass out there for little pay, for a job. Get a career as a digital project manager. Go to the 6-figure PM program. Change your life. Start to change your life. And that's just the start. The 6 figures is just the start. You go up from there. This getting involved in this digital PM arena changed my life. I started earning more money than I ever could before. I started being around some wealthy people, millionaires and billionaires. It changed my life. And I'm so happy I got into this program. And it's not difficult to learn at all. The only one requirement is that you're good at multitasking. So become a member of the 6-figure PM program. And don't forget, donate to the channel. Your donations would be appreciated. This is Qesankh Ma'akeperu, son of my aunt Tahuti. My aunt is the goddess Heteru. Until my next video, Amun Ra.